So on page 104 and 105, we have to talk a little bit more about complex numbers before we can actually use them to solve polynomials. So you need to make sure that you know that complex numbers come in pairs. They have this thing called a complex conjugate. And a conjugate just means that it has a little friend with a sign that's different in the middle. And for example, if you were back in Algebra 1 and you were trying to rationalize that, because we don't leave square roots in the denominator, you would multiply by 1 plus root 2 over 1 plus root 2. This 1 plus root 2 thing is called the conjugate, and so all that's changing now is that we're calling it the complex conjugate because it has a complex or real and imaginary part. So this first example says that we have a plus bi, and we're going to multiply by the complex conjugate. So if I have a plus bi, and I want to multiply by the conjugate, its conjugate is a minus bi. So now I'm going to FOIL these two together. And so when I multiply these or FOIL them together, you get a squared minus abi plus abi, and then a plus and a minus making negative, and this is going to be bi squared or minus b squared I squared. So these two cancel each other out, and now you have your a squared, and then this I squared thing makes this become a negative 1. So I have minus b squared times a negative 1, and so this really becomes plus b squared. So this is the long way, and then this down here is what we're going to call the short way. So now you're going to try the next couple problems, and then you're going to come back to the video and see if you get the same answer as I do. Here we go. So 6 plus 8i multiplied by its conjugate is going to be 6 minus 8i. And then we're going to FOIL, or you can use your short way. I'm going to FOIL just to prove that it works. So you get 36 minus 48i plus 48i minus 64i squared. These cancel out, so you have 36 plus 64, which gets you 100. That's the long way, and then if I do it the short way, a here is 6, and b is 8, and 36 plus 64, which is a squared plus b squared, is going to get me my 100. So life is great. So if we work this out down here, we're going to pretty much prove the exact same thing that we did up here, where when you multiply this together, so on top I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to get a times c minus a di plus bci minus bdi squared. And it doesn't matter what order you write these letters in, I just out of habit wrote them in alphabetical order. On the bottom you know this is going to become a c squared plus a d squared, and then there's your complex number all worked out. So on the very next page, we're going to do some math. So what you're going to do is you're going to stop the video, and you're going to try all these problems, and then you're going to go back to Edmodo, and there'll be another video for page 105 that'll have all the answers on it.